So we're working with plugins this week. Plugins are ways to let you get really advanced programming without really having to even technically understand it. It's used by both designers and by developers to speed development. There are a lot of free plugins out there. I'm using the AnnoFlow from AnnoWave. And if I go out to the assignment, you can see a link to some of the more simpler to use plugins, and their complexity varies, and I can't show you how to use all of them. There's hundreds or more out there. You're going to have to go look for the one that you want to use. I tried to pick one. My search was for fairly simple ones so that you could start with something simple, and I'm just going to go through the process that I took to use the plugin and adapt it. So I went to free JQuery Plugins at speckyboy.com, and these are useful and should be fairly simple and straightforward. So I wanted to do something with images. You can use anything here. You can do an internet search. I'm going to take you through the process. I did not want that. So there were a lot of things out here. This is the one that I liked, that I wanted to use as a Lightbox gallery plugin, because this is something I could see being really useful on a lot of websites, and I like image-based websites. And so this is what I did from their page. But let me walk you through the process. First of all, I had to go out and I made images and thumbnails that were appropriate sizes. My thumbnails are 100 by 100. My images are all 500 by 500, though I could have gone larger because this would actually respond to the different sizes coming in. So the thumbnails should be all the same sizes. The images did not have to be. And all I have to do is modify the HTML, and that's really the simplest ones you can look for, are ones that you don't have to modify any of the code, just the HTML. And so this is me throughout the years, and you'll see that I have the year that the picture was taken with each one. Now, I'm not in love with the fact that these are over key parts of the image here. I probably should have put a border on either side of the image, and this would adjust so that the arrows would be over the border. And I could go back into Photoshop and do that by changing the canvas size with a black background, which is what I would do if I was using this for a professional site. But this is okay. It's not perfect. I'd keep tweaking it. I'd work in Photoshop a bit to tweak it. I'd do more things here on the page, but it works, and you can see that I got it working. So let's go out and show you how I got it. So I went to the link because that was the one that I wanted to use, and I like that this is a pretty good, well documented. You've got the different options in here, and so I can go in and change some of these items if I want. And then I found the demo page, and I went here. And the nice thing is almost all of these will either take you to a place where you can download the whole thing as a zip file, or take you to GitHub where you can download the whole thing as a zip file. So this is what I downloaded to start with, and I just started really removing stuff that I didn't want, and I changed the images. So I went to the download section and I downloaded the entire code here. And then I just started modifying the demo page. I renamed it index.html. I dropped it in my folder, which for me I called this JQ plugin. And I took all of their CSS and scripts, and these are all freely available for use. You don't have to pay anything for them. All I'm asking that you do is you should leave any comments they put in on where you got it from, and you'll notice that on the front of mine I do cite where I got mine from. So I would appreciate it if you would do the same thing. Mine says sample Lightbox plugin from www.annowave.com. I'd like you to do the same thing where in some way you document which plugin that you're using. And then I had to read through the code, figure out how it was working. And this was a really easy one to use because I added my CSS to it. But I didn't replace theirs. I just stuck mine at the end where I went to my master CSS. So I was using my fonts and colors and my container thing that I like to use. I could go in here and add additional stuff to it, but I just really wanted to get it working. I have an H1 tag here I have a UL class image fix. This came from there, so all I really changed was my list of images here, and then I cut out the code from their page that I didn't want because they have a lot of stuff on their demo page explaining how it works, and I didn't want that. I just wanted to get it working. And then from here I could keep going and put other content in and make my web page any way that I want to. I left their script here right in the body where they did. I didn't make any changes to this. I just imported everything, and I basically all I had to do was add the data captions that I wanted, which is just the years, and the images. Now I could absolutely go through and start playing with where those arrows show up because I'm not real happy with them, but I think I'd start that by going into Photoshop and putting a black background to add 100 pixels to either side so that my images were 700 by 500 instead of 500 by 500, and I think those arrows would fix themselves. So this should be completely responsive. If I were to try this in an inspect, I should be able to show this on different surfaces. Now I didn't put a grid work in here, that would be up to me, but the light box should be able to be touch sensitive on a screen, because that was one of the things I wanted. I wanted it to work on a phone. Now I would want to add a responsive grid to these, and I might want to put them where they ended up below this. So there's more things that I could do with it, but I just wanted to get the plugin basically working. So you can, please don't use the same plugin. Go use, there's thousands, hundreds, whatever. Go search the internet. Find a simple one to use where you only really have to change the HTML. You don't really want to get into changing the JavaScript code for this assignment. But go out there, see what interests you, what you'd like to use, what you'd like to include in your final project.